This meeting is being recorded.
Yep. Good morning, everyone. So last session, we completed all the concepts of TypeScript. After understanding all TypeScript language, now from today, we will start working with Angular. So to deal with Angular, the prerequisite is you need to be very good with your HTML and CSS. HTML, CSS compulsory, and good knowledge on JavaScript and TypeScript. So with this, you are ready for learning and working with Angular. Remember, 40% Angular interview questions will be up to JavaScript, TypeScript. 60% will be related to Angular. So the interviewer will go into Angular questions only when he is satisfied with your JavaScript answers. Otherwise, he will not even ask a single question related to Angular if he is not satisfied. So you will fail in every interview if you are not good with JavaScript, TypeScript, HTML, and CSS. So you need to be very strong in understanding and working with JavaScript, up to JavaScript. So we learned complete what is required for TypeScript. So after knowing that, now we will start working with the Angular. So what is Angular? I already given a basic introduction. Just I will give a summary of that. What is Angular? I told you that Angular is a developer's platform. Angular is a developer's platform. What is meant by developer's platform? Some people say Angular is a framework. That is okay. But Angular is more than a framework. Angular is not just framework, it is more than framework. Technically, Angular is a developer's platform. What is meant by developer's platform? Developer's platform. What is meant by developer's platform? Developer's platform means it contains end-to-end solution for a developer. End-to-end solution for a developer means it provides the library for building application. It provides the library for testing application. It provides the library for deploying application. A developer needs a lot of tools for building, debugging, testing, deploying. Everything is provided by a technology. Then it is called as developer's platform. So a developer's platform provides end-to-end solution for developer. It provides libraries required for building, for debugging, for testing, and for deploying. It will provide libraries for every purpose, for building, for debugging, for testing, for deploying, everything. So technically, if anybody asks what is Angular, better to say as developers platform. So in a developers platform, there will be so many things. So you see the official website of Angular. This is official website of Angular. This is Angular. This is Angular official website. Angular.io. This is the Angular official. So you can see this Angular. So it says, so web development framework for building the future at any scale. So it is deliver web apps with confidence. Actually, this is old one. So Angular JS actually. So you see, this is the new concept actually. That means the new Angular. I already showed you in the beginning itself. New Angular contains not only library for building, it contains all the libraries for debugging, testing and all. So if anybody says Angular is a framework, it's okay. But it is more than a framework, more than a framework. So actually Angular developed by Google. Angular developed by Google and maintained by a large community of developers and organizations. Angular actually developed by Google and it is maintained by a large community of developers and organizations. That means originally designed by Google. Angular belongs to Google. But Angular, Google made it as open source. That means several companies, organizations, and developers are contributing to Angular. In Angular, whatever you see, it is not completely designed by Google. It is contributed by so many people in the world, right? Across the world, several companies, several developers contributed several options into Angular. That means everything in Angular is not built by Google. It is contributed by large community. So many developers, organizations are contributing to Angular. I told you about actually versions. So versions, so Google introduced Angular JS. Google introduced Angular JS in early 2010. Angular JS in early 2010. After that, so Google redesigned, right? Rewritten Angular in 2014. So Angular JS versions are known as 1x. Angular JS versions are known as 1x. So the latest version is 1.8. That is Angular JS version. It is Angular JS version. I told you already this in introduction. Angular JS, it is having some drawbacks. To overcome the drawbacks, they designed Angular. Already these all points I discussed. I'm just giving a summary about that. So Angular is an alternative for Angular JS. Angular is an alternative for Angular JS. Angular versions started with 2 and latest version is 15. The latest version is 15. The latest Angular stable version is 15 version. So Angular JS is different. Angular is different, as I already explained. Some drawbacks of Angular JS and how Angular is having more features, advantages, I explained that. This all in introduction part I covered, right? These all topics we discussed. I'm just giving the summary. So is Angular replacement for Angular JS? No, it is an alternative for Angular JS. So don't say that Angular JS is no longer used, because some companies are still using Angular JS. Several projects are in still Angular JS. Several job opportunities are still in Angular JS. And after learning Angular, so you can't handle Angular JS. Angular JS you have to learn again. But once you learn Angular like technology, Angular JS you can explore by yourself. Yourself you can learn. But it is completely different. Angular JS is different. Angular is different. So what you have to mention in your resume, will you mention Angular JS or Angular? Angular. It's not Angular JS. Okay, Angular JS is completely different, right? So we are not learning Angular JS, we are learning Angular. And the version we are going to deal with is 15. So first we will see how to set up environment for Angular. Set up environment for Angular. How do we set up the environment for Angular so that you can start working with Angular? To set up environment for Angular, first you have to download and install Node.js. Already you have it, right? You have to download and install TypeScript. You also have it, right? So you have to download and install Visual Studio Code, right? Studio Code editor. All these we already have. No need to explain them, right? You already installed Node.js. Node.js for which purpose? For a package manager called npm. And TypeScript you need to install because the language we use for Angular is TypeScript. And you have to install Visual Studio Code editor. This is the editor we use for building Angular applications. Okay, right. Already we have this, so you don't need to do anything extra. All these three things we have. Now we have to install Angular. If you have to install Angular, I will tell you the process here. Already, if you have Angular in your computer and you are having some old version of Angular, you have to replace that old version with new. So here what you have to do is, here first point is check the Angular version if it is already installed on your PC. How to check? In the command prompt you have to use ng version. Check the Angular version if it is already installed on your PC. If it is not installed, leave it. Don't worry about this point, right? How to check? ng version. ng version, ng is short form for Angular, right? So here you see, I will open the command prompt, and in the command prompt ng version, and it shows some Angular version. So the Angular version that is installed, you can see this is Angular, and you see it says the Angular version. Yeah, you see the Angular version So which Angular version it is having? 14. Angular version is 14. I need to update, right? I need to update two things. It given a warning that my node version is also not latest, because Angular needs the latest version of node, right? I hope you already installed latest version only, right? How to install Node.js, you all know, na? Nodejs.org. It is 18.13. So I am installing the latest version of Node.js. Huh? Let's install the latest version of Node.js in my PC. Yeah, I'm installing latest version of Node.js. I hope you all people have this 18.13. Huh? Right. Yeah. Because in my PC I have 18.12. Let me update this. Just you install the new version, the existing version will be replaced. Yep. I will follow these steps. Yep. So it is installing. Let it install. Now here, first you check your version. Which version we are using? So currently in my computer, I am having some Angular old version. Then we have to remove and add the new version, right? Yeah. So it is installing all the latest version of Node.js. After installing, we will check which version of Node.js is installed here. Okay, finish. Let's check the version in the command prompt node-v. That is the latest version we are having. That's fine. Now I have old version of Angular in my PC. You may have some old version. If not, no problem. If you have old version, first we have to remove the old version and install the new version. How to remove the old version? Check the version, right? And next remove the existing version. Remove the existing version. So this we have to do like this. npm uninstall @angular/CLI globally. So -g. npm uninstall Angular CLI globally. This is the first command you have to run. You have to remove the existing version. If remember, this is for the people who already have Angular. If you are already having Angular, you have to remove. Removing Angular will not affect your projects. That means already if you are having projects in old version, they don't have any problem. Later I will show you how to update from old version to new. Don't worry about your projects. Uninstalling Angular will not remove your projects. Your projects will be there. Just you need to update your project from old version to new. First run this command. In my computer, I am having which version of Angular? 14. I am having 14 version. I will remove that 14 version. So what I will do, npm uninstall @angular / CLI globally -g, that is globally. So it will uninstall Angular from my PC. After uninstalling, still it is not finished. It removed. You see removed 209 packages removed, but it is still not satisfied. Why? Because after deleting Angular old version, still its temporary files may present in your memory. Those temporary files will not allow to install new version. So what you have to do, clean up the complete memory. So what you have to do is, so we have to run the command npm cache verify. You need to run the command npm cache verify. What this command will do is, it will clean up all temporary files from the memory if any temporary file is present related to Angular. So keeping those temporary files in your computer will not allow to install the new version. So you have to clean up everything. So you need to run one more command. What you have to do, remove existing version. After that, remove the temporary files, remove the cache. Okay, cached files. How to remove the cached files? Cached files are nothing but temporary files. Temporary files. How to remove those temporary files? You need to run one more command. What is it? npm cache verify. You need to run this command npm cache verify. It will take some time. It will take few minutes of time to clean up entire cache. You need to wait for some time. Once it is completely removed and everything is cleaned up, right? Everything is cleaned up. Now, next step, what we have to do is, after you removed everything, so here I am cleaning the cache. It will take some time. After you cleaned up the cache, now next, your computer is empty. It is not having any Angular. Now you have to install the new version of Angular. So install new version of Angular. How to install new version of Angular in your computer after cleaning up existing? So you have to just do npm install globally @angular / CLI. This is the command you have to run. So CLI is nothing but command line tool. Here you need to note, CLI is a command line tool provided by Angular. It is a command line tool provided by Angular to create and manage projects. To create and manage projects, a command line tool is provided by Angular. So you have to create projects, manage your projects, and do everything related to Angular from this CLI only, Angular CLI. After installing, now you can check the version. How to check the version? Already you have. What is it? ng version. ng version will show you the latest version of Angular, what is installed, right? So that is the latest version installed, it will display. Let's see this cache verify finished or not? Still it is doing. So cache verify is very, very important, because if you don't delete the cache and you install any new version, lot of version conflicts will come. That means it will give you a lot of warnings saying that still old version is there. Do you want new version also? Choices it will be giving. So we need to clean up everything. That is very important. Now, let's see, it's taking right. So once everything is cleaned up, we have to install the latest version of Angular. It is taking more time. Let it do, right? So meanwhile, I will show you other points also. Okay. Now here, what you have to do, if you are first time installing Angular, then directly you have to come from step 3 to directly come to step 7. Understood? That means after step 3, directly step 7 if you are first time using Angular. These all steps are for the people who are already having Angular. Remember, you need to update, because sometimes you people learning Java, .NET, PHP, other technologies, you might have already installed Angular or working with Angular if there they told you about some Angular concepts. So now the latest version have some changes, some new features are there. We are going to learn them, and you cannot use them if you still have the old version. So make sure that remove your older version and update to the new. Okay. Actually, Angular versions, remember Angular versions, so many versions are there. I told you. So Angular versions up to Angular versions up to 12 are no longer supported. No longer supported. Angular versions up to 12 no longer supported. So now the current active versions are 13, 14, and 15. Angular 13, 14, and 15. Actually, up to 12 no longer supported officially by Google. So companies may still ask old versions. So when you see the Naukri sites jobs, they will say we need Angular 8, Angular 10 sometimes, because their projects may be in old version. But now everybody is updating from the old version to new. So up to Angular 12 officially no longer supported. So the current active versions are 13, 14, and 15. The latest stable version is 15 of Angular. Okay. So it is taking more time. It will take, usually it will take more time, because it is a huge library. A lot of temporary files will be installed in your computer. To remove all of them, it will take time. You need to keep little patience for this, because installing, creating projects also will be it will take little time, because lot of packages are installed, and every package it has to search and remove from your Windows registries. Okay, it is finished. It deleted all the files. You can see so much memory is removed actually, garbage collected. Otherwise, you will face problem in installing the new versions. So everything is cleaned up. Garbage collection not happened means problems will come. That is very, very important. So I cleaned up everything. Okay. Now I have to install the new version. Now if I type ng version, it will show error. Why? Because Angular is not installed. We deleted. We have to first install Angular. So how to install Angular? npm install globally @angular/cli. Okay. So it is downloading and installing Angular CLI here. Suppose if you run this command, what it will do is it will install the latest version of Angular, whatever latest is there. But anywhere in any company, if they say that we are working with Angular 13, you install Angular 13 in your PC, then only one extra thing you have to do. So if you want to install any specific older version, then so use the following syntax. So what you have to do, you have to write like this: npm install globally @angular/cli version number. Understood? We have to give the version number. Is it 10? Is it 12? Is it 14? You have to give the version number, which version you want. So this is version number. You have to get the version number and use it. If you want to install any specific version, you have to give @ and that version number at the end. Because sometimes companies will say that we are using Angular 12, you need to set up Angular 12 in your PC, then you have to install older version only, right? So everybody is not using the latest versions, right? So several companies are still working on Angular 12. Some companies are still using Angular 8, right? So if you learn latest version, you can handle all other versions. I will tell you the difference, what is there in old and what is in new version. Those differences you will understand. So let's see here, installed successfully. That means actually Angular CLI is successfully installed. It is successfully installed. After installing that Angular CLI, so you need to check the version. What is it? ng version. So ng version will get the Angular version and display, and the current version is 15.1.2. Previously I had 14, right? We need to update from the old version to the new, right? You need to check the version after you install. Okay. So this is the basic steps we have to follow. If you are first time installing, directly what you have to do, open command prompt, because already you have Node.js and everything. Just only one step you have to follow. What is it? npm install Angular CLI. So now Angular is ready. Once Angular is ready, now we will see how to create a project with Angular and how do we work with Angular. So first, what we are going to do is we are going to create a new workspace. Create a new workspace. First, we will see how to create a new workspace. Technically, what is a workspace? A workspace is nothing but it is a collection of projects. Actually, whenever you are watching YouTube videos or any Angular related tutorials, they will show you directly creating a Angular project. So we are not doing that. What we are doing is we are creating a workspace. In that workspace, we will maintain projects. Almost 99% everywhere you will find the process of creating a project directly. But in real time environment, we have to work with multiple projects. All projects are kept in a workspace. In a workspace, we will keep all the projects so that all projects can have some common resources. All the resources for different projects are kept in single workspace. So we are not creating a project first. We are creating a workspace. So you have to do one important thing. Either follow YouTube or follow me. Don't follow both. You will be confused. Why? Because when you are watching YouTube videos, they will be showing you commands directly on a project. But here we are not directly working on a project. We are working on a workspace. Then our commands will change a little bit. So in real world environment, always you have to work with workspace. That is the reason. So majority you have to learn how to deal with workspace. If you can deal with workspace, projects are simple. Actually, what is workspace? A workspace comprises of first point. A workspace comprises of set of Angular projects. So you can maintain a common library which is accessible across projects. You can maintain a common library which is accessible across projects. So workspace comprises of set of Angular projects. You can maintain a common library which is accessible across projects. So how to create a workspace? First, we will create a workspace. To create a workspace, first thing, open any location of your PC in command prompt. Open any location of your PC in command prompt. That means any drive, C drive, D drive, E drive, any location in command prompt. That means some location, D drive, C drive, E drive, some location. You have to open in command prompt. I will open in command prompt. First, I will check in my computer. I have some D drive, E drive. Okay. D drive, E drive, some locations are there. Okay, I will do one thing here. Now I will open my E drive. In my computer, I am opening E drive. You can do anything in your PC. Let's open command prompt, change to E drive. This is the location. And here, what you have to do is you have to run a command called ng new. Here we have workspace name, Angular workspace. And we have to give create application. Create application is equal to false. This is the command we have to run. So that means you are creating a new workspace without any project. First, we are creating a workspace. Create application false means don't create any project as of now. Create only workspace. Create only workspace. In a workspace, you can maintain multiple projects. Actually, I hope this workspace is not new for you. Already you know. For example, if you are using MS Office, in MS Office, you are working with 4 files at a time. And all those 4 files you want to open next time. How? At a time you want to open all those 4 files, then those 4 files that you opened, you can save it as workspace. When you save it as workspace, next time you open that workspace, all those 4 files will open. That means you can save your workspace and you can open that workspace. So it is there everywhere. So you are creating a workspace. So here, how to run the command? So run the following command. What is the command? So ng new Angular workspace. You can give any name. I'm giving Angular workspace and create application. Create application is equal to false. Create application is equal to false. This is the command you have to run. So you have to create a new Angular workspace. That name you can give anything. Huh? This name can be anything. You can say my projects, you can say Angular projects, any name, any workspace name you can give. Okay, let's do this now. So I am using create application false, enter. Now it is creating a new workspace. It is creating a new workspace. In that workspace, it is adding some new files. Some files are created here. So make sure that you are connected to internet every time, because all these libraries are installed online, right? These commands will not work offline. So you need to connect to internet, right? So make sure that you are connected to internet while installing Angular, while installing workspace related libraries and all. Otherwise it will fail. Okay, right. Now, is it creating Angular project? It is not creating Angular project. It is creating a workspace. By default, workspace have some files. By default, workspace is having some files. First, we will understand what are those files. Then we will learn how to create a project, right? Now, once the workspace is created, so what you can do is open the workspace location in your editor. Your editor is Visual Studio Code. Open the workspace location in your editor. Actually, what is that workspace location will be E colon, what is it? Angular workspace. That is the location actually. You have to open this location. That is the folder it is created. So this is the workspace you have. Once the workspace is created successfully, now you can see the workspace is successfully created. It is successfully created. After creating the workspace, now exit. Let's open Visual Studio Code. In Visual Studio Code, open that workspace. Go to File, Open Folder. Open folder. Which folder? E drive. In E drive, what is it? Angular workspace. This is the location. Now, when I open that Angular workspace, now you can see the project. This is the workspace. And workspace contains some files here. You can see ready-made, some files are present here. Now, by default, you have some files and folders here. You have files and folders. We need to understand what is the purpose of these files and folders. We need to know about these. Remember, still there is no project here. There is no project. This is just a workspace for project. In this workspace, you can add several projects. You can add several projects. First, we will see the file system. So Angular workspace file system. Angular workspace file system. Let's see what this contains. Angular workspace file system. So I will give you a simple tabular format like file or folder and the description. A tabular form we will see here. What are the files and folders we are having? So file, folder, and description. Some files you already know, no need to explain, because you see, I hope you already know what is this file. Am I right? I showed you how to create this file manually. Na? We manually created that file. How? TSC init. Am I right? TSC init. What is it? TypeScript configuration file. What it contains? What it contains? tsconfig.json contains rules about TypeScript. Am I right? That means if developers are using TypeScript, they may use different shortcuts. They may use different syntaxes. If you want to restrict all developers to use same shortcuts, same type of syntaxes, those rules you can mention in which file? tsconfig.json. So the file we have tsconfig.json. It comprises of rules defined for TypeScript used for all projects in workspace. Remember, if you set rules in this file, this will affect for all projects, not one project, because you are setting rule in workspace. That means suppose there are 4 projects, Angular projects. If all 4 projects have to follow same rules, then that you can define in which location? tsconfig.json. Remember, there will be one more tsconfig.json in every project. That means every project have its own rules. All projects will have some common rules. This is related to specific project or all projects? All projects, because it is present in workspace. So all projects. So TypeScript used for all projects in the workspace. You can see here, when I open the tsconfig, you can see it will show you a lot of things. You can see lot of rules are already configured. And see the target. Target is what? ES22. It is the latest version of JavaScript. That means your TypeScript is translated to latest version of JavaScript. Previously, I showed you that we can translate to ES6, ES7, ES8. The latest version is ES22. ES 2022. That is the latest version of JavaScript. I told you module systems, na? Right? Common JS, require JS, UMD, AMD, but it is using a module system, ES22 module system. A new module system is there called ES22. It is required for modules. What are modules? Yesterday we already discussed, right? Now this is all the rules. Here we can add new rules. Already later when we create projects, some more rules will be added. Those I will show you how to add new rules, how to change the rules we will discuss, right? Another important, in many interviews, they ask this question regularly. This you need to make a note actually. So I will give that as an question like this. Actual is the frequently asked question is, so where the TypeScript files are stored, where the TypeScript target files, TypeScript target files are stored in Angular project, are stored in Angular project, where the TypeScript target files are stored in Angular project. The answer is this location. This is the location actually. .dist /out ts. That is the location. That dist folder, you will see later how to generate it. That means in many interviews, they ask this question, like TypeScript files need to be translated into JavaScript. In our previous examples, you saw the JavaScript file directly below the TypeScript file, but in Angular, you will not see. In Angular, you will not see the JavaScript files under TypeScript file. After compilation, all JavaScript files are kept in a separate location. And what is that location? Dist out ts. This is the location where all the TypeScript target files means JavaScript files. Those all files are kept in this location, right? That you will see when you are publishing the projects, right? This is one file. Another file you can see here, we have README. This is common. This is nothing but help document, right? So another file. So this file is readme.md. It is a help document created by developers. It is a help document created by developers to guide other developers. So to guide other developers in building, in debugging, in testing and deploying. So it is a help document. That means if you want to tell other developers some tips, which command to compile, which command to test, which command to run, all these things you can mention in a help document. Every project will have a README file, compulsory. Every project must have. It is just like you purchased a product. When you purchase a product, in every product box, you will find a catalog. That catalog contains information about how to use that product. Am I right? So that is compulsory for every project. There cannot be a project without README. Compulsory. You have to maintain a README, because the person who is using your project, he need to know how to run, how to compile, how to handle it. For that, this file is important. You can see in that README file already some tips are given. It says that this is Angular, so workspace, Angular development server is running in which location? Localhost 4200. That means Angular applications will run here, and it will show you so many other commands, concepts, how to test, how to run, how to handle everything they will display. This documentation is generally created automatically. In this you can make some changes, right? That is README. Another important file. So package.json, you know already this. We learned how to create this file. Na? So we learned how to create package JSON by ourselves, right? And we learned how to create TS config also ourselves. What package JSON contains? So it comprises of project metadata. Am I right? It comprises of project metadata. What project metadata means? Project metadata means about the project version, about the project dependencies, right? What dependencies it is using, what versions it is using. That means version related information, copyright related information, so license related version, license related information, dependencies related information, author related information, everything. So many details are present here. So package JSON contains all these details. And how to create this package JSON already we discussed. We know how to create this file. I told you what is it? npm init y, right? That is going to generate the package JSON. By default, you can see this is package JSON. In the package JSON, it is showing what are the dependencies, which version it is, what libraries are there, which version libraries are there, everything. So if anybody asks, you created an Angular project, which version it is, which TypeScript version it is using, in this what libraries are present, which version those libraries are, all such information is present in package JSON. There is another file related to it. Actually, we have package.lock lock.json. It is nothing but it comprises of detailed information related to dependencies, related to all dependencies used in project. Remember here still project is not there. Later when you add project, this will update automatically. Currently there is no project, but later when you add project and you add some libraries into project, all that information will be here. So what libraries are used, so what dependencies are used, detailed information about every package is present here. So summary is present in which location? Brief is present in package JSON. Detail is present in package lock JSON. This is important. You can see here package lock JSON contains detail about every package, more information. That means for every package related, more information is present here. So all detailed information about every package you can get from package lock JSON. There is another file, angular.json. It is project configuration file. It is project configuration file. Angular.json is a project configuration file. Project configuration file means, for example, we have to access images. Generally, in which folder images are kept? I told you, na, every project have public folder, SRC folder, right? Public contains static resources, SRC contains dynamic resources. That means generally from where to pick the scripts, from where to pick the styles, from where to pick the images, all that information is present in this file. Project related configuration is defined in this file. Currently we don't have project. That is the reason it will be little empty. You can see angular.json is just empty because currently we don't have any projects. Later when you add a project, then this will be updated with a lot of details, like from where to pick the CSS for this project, from where to pick the scripts for this project. All such information is present in this angular.json. Currently we don't have any project, so empty. Later when you add a project, lot of details will come here. That means from where this project have to access the CSS files. I told you that whenever we create a project, by default project starts with which page? By default project starts with which page? Index.html. How it will start with index.html? That configuration is defined somewhere. Such configurations are kept in this file. So that means which component to start and all those I will tell you how it works, right? Initially, this contains project related configuration. Currently, there are no projects. Later, when projects will come, you will see that, right? Angular.json contains project, right? Another option is there. Another option is git ignore. Git ignore. So it specifies the resources to ignore. Resources to ignore while publishing on Git. It specifies the resources to ignore while publishing on Git. Do you have any idea on Git? Do you know how to make your projects live? No. GitHub? No. If you don't have any idea, later I will show you. Because suppose when you are working in a project, suppose your friends together have to design a project, but all are present in different locations. Then how you will together build a project? Then you need some common repository for you online. That repository help you to build a project, test the project at every phase. That means you designed one page, another person designed another page. We need to collaborate and push it into one application. All this kind of work is team-based work is done in which location? Git. If you have idea on that, that is very good, because these days every technologies will teach you Git. But if you don't have, we will learn here how to use it. That means when you are publishing your projects and making them live on, so many are there, we can use any cloud. So if you are working on Git, which one to ignore? So that is defined inside this Git ignore. Later you will learn. If you don't have idea of Git, ignore that, right? Later you will see that. In another important, we have .editor. Editor config. You have editor config. Editor config. It is nothing but it is editor's configuration file. So it sets common rules for all developers working on various editors. Because actually we are using which editor? Visual Studio Code. But same project, suppose some team in US, that means we are the team in India, we are using VS Code. Some team in US, same project, but they are using some other editor. So same project, a team in UK those people are using another editor. But project is same. You cannot force developers to use editor because developers will use the editor which is convenient for them. Right? That means we give a choice to developer that whatever editor you want, you use. Then what is problem? Every editor have different rules. Then if everybody follows different rules, then lot of contradictory will be there. That means lot of inconsistency will be there. So what we do is we set some standard rules here, saying that whatever editor you may be using, you follow these rules. If you don't follow these rules and try to design something new, then automatically it shows warning. So TypeScript related rules, similarly editor related rules also will be there. Editor related rules means you see here, when you go to editor config, you can see editor rules are here. Editor rules, you see it is saying that in TypeScript, code type must be single quote. That means now what happens is, if anybody is creating a TypeScript, that means if anybody written like this, so var some name, it is what type string, and you entered some name, then automatically it will show warning. It will show warning. It will say that as per the rules, string must be in which location? Single quote. Because one person write double quote, another person write single quote, lot of issues will be there. So we force everybody to use same rules. For that, we need to set such rules here. We need to define the rules here. This is related to what? This is related to editors. Editors. What does character set UTF-8 means? You learned in HTML, na? What does it means? It means that the project language must be English. If it is 16, 32, 64-bit, that is different. Korean, Japanese, Arabic languages. That means UTF-8 indicates it is which one? English. Which English? Indian English, US English, UK English, which English? All type of English, any English. UTF-8 stands for any English. US, UK, any kind of English, right? That is how we define here. So Indian style, you see trim trailing white space. Do you know what does this means? In JavaScript, you might have learned trim. That means if any additional spaces are there, extra spaces you write, it will automatically delete them. It will automatically delete them. Extra spaces means the space before and space after. These all rules here, only few rules are there. Several more rules you can add. How to see the rules? All rules. To see all rules, you can visit this website, editorconfig.org. This is the website. This is the website. Here you can see all rules are mentioned here. See, all rules are here. All rules related information is here. You can see here so many rules related information. Everything is mentioned here. According to that, we have to define. Right? So later we will learn how to put some more rules into this, how to set our own rules, how to change the rules. So if anybody asked that, so when I am writing TypeScript and I am giving double quote for string, it is showing warning. What should I do? What should you do? You should go to which file? Editor config, and there change the quote type from single to double. Understood? But remember, these are just warnings. That means it will not pause your application. They are not errors. In spite of these warnings, your application will run. But what is the meaning of warning? It says that please don't do this, follow the standards. Will it compile successfully? Yes, because it is just warning. It is not an errors, right? This is editor config file. And I hope everybody knows this folder. Node modules folder. If you worked with HTML and all, what is that folder name? Node underscore modules. What it contains? It comprises of all library files. Am I right? All library files that are installed in your workspace, all the library files that you installed in the workspace, they are present in which file, which location? Node modules. These are the project related. VS Code is not related to Angular project. Remember, this is not related to this is not related to Angular. It is not related to Angular. It is just added by VS Code. VS Code added this extra. In every Angular project workspace, you will not have this. Why VS Code added extra? It is nothing but it is saying that in your VS Code, there is a separate plugin which you have installed. I will use that plugin. Actually, I installed an extra plugin. I told you some plugins. What plugins? Live server plugin, VS Code icons plugin, IntelliSense for CSS class names plugin. Have you installed them? Right. But for Angular, there is a plugin. You can see there is a plugin for Angular called Angular template. This is the plugin. Angular ng template plugin is present. This is a plugin. It says that recommendation. It says that you install this, then you will get better help on Angular. So this is just a suggestion provided by VS Code. It is not related to Angular project. Okay. So Angular workspace don't have this file. Understood? These are related to just VS Code. It is extra added. If these files are not generated, don't worry, because some editors will never generate these files. These are just additionally generated by this VS Code to help you in working with Angular. So what you do is you go to here, you go to this extensions. You see, these are the extensions. In the extensions, there is an extension called, so you keep a note here, download Angular language service extension for VS Code. So that will help you while working with Angular library. That will help you while working with Angular library. That means it will give you a lot of help related to Angular. Means it will give you more suggestions. It will give you more tips while writing the code. So this, if you have installed, then you will get such extra folders, right? But this is related to extension. You can download this Angular language service extension for VS Code. Actually, I done that already in my VS Code. You can see this is the extension I am having, Angular language service. This Angular language service extension will help you a lot. Right? This is very much good and it is required for people who are newly learning Angular. It will help you in so many ways, but it is not mandatory. Without that also it's okay. But these are all the folders that we have. These are all the folders and files that we have. Only these you need to consider. Okay. I hope you are clear. Right. TypeScript rules are present in tsconfig. So help documentation, readme, metadata, package JSON, detailed, so log JSON, project configuration related to projects, Angular.json. Resources to ignore while publishing on Git, Git ignore. Rules for editor, editor config. Library files, node modules. This is the location. Still here, we just have workspace. Now we need to create a project. Now let's see how to add a project into this workspace. So next step, adding a new project into workspace. So adding a new project into workspace. How to add a new project into workspace? First point, open your workspace location in terminal or command prompt. You can use a terminal instead of opening a separate command prompt. That means what is the location? E:/ what is it? Angular workspace. That is the location. Then here run the following command. What is the command? Ng generate application. And here you have to define some name. Application name. You can give any app name. Okay. That means ng generate application and application name. I will give application name as some shopping. Shopping is an application name. Any name you can give for your project. Remember, this is the project. Like this, you can add any number of projects in workspace. Now let's add a project into workspace. So open this workspace location in terminal. Let's go. This is the Angular workspace. Open in terminal. You know how to open terminal. This is terminal. I told you already, switch from PowerShell to command prompt. If there is accidentally PowerShell, change that to command prompt. Here, what is the command you have to run? So the command that we have to run here, what is it? Ng generate application, some application name. What is it? Shopping. And hit enter. Now it is going to add a new project into your workspace. Now several more files are added into your workspace. Now it is asking first question. Let's see the questions, what it is asking. First question it is asking, would you like to add Angular routing? Angular routing is a concept used for building single page applications with good navigation. And it is not necessary in the beginning. Later, when we want, we can add it manually. So I am not adding this, because if you add this, automatically some routing will come. Routing is used for creating navigation, and this we will learn manually how to do. So we will ignore here. If you ignore here, later you have to add manually. So no problem. So I am saying no, right? I don't want to add any routing. So what is the first question here? The question number 1, would you like to add Angular routing? I said no, I don't want to add Angular routing. But remember, Angular routing is important. Then why you are not adding? Because we haven't learned anything about Angular. After learning Angular, we will learn Angular routing. Then we will add manually whenever we need. So later we will add whenever we need it. So as of now, I don't want any routing. So I am just using N here. Okay. I am using N. I don't want the routing. Enter. Now it is asking which style sheet format you want to use. I already told you, I hope you already know style sheet format. Which style sheet formats? You have CSS, you have SCSS, you know, na? SAS, less. So many CSS formats are there. So we will use directly CSS. Because you can use SCSS and less only if you have learned SAS. If you learned any front-end technologies, I hope you have learned SAS. SAS less are very much used in real-time projects. They don't use directly CSS. Okay. And if you don't have any idea on SAS and less, don't worry. You can directly use your CSS. So which style sheet format? We will choose the style sheet format as CSS. I am selecting the CSS. You can use SCSS, SAS or less. I am using CSS. Enter. Okay. Now the project is created. Only two questions you need to answer. Which do you want routing and which style sheets you want to use? Better you use CSS because if you don't know SAS and less, it is very hard, right? So because in real-time projects, when there is a lot of CSS to do, they use SAS. SAS is a language which is used for CSS, right? So as of now, we are just adding this. Now, once you created a project, lot of changes you will see in your workspace. In your workspace, you will see lot of changes. Several new files are added, several changes happened in your workspace files. You can observe that. I will explain all the files in this projects also now, right? But first we will see how to run the project and see. Okay, now it is successfully created. Now, once successfully created, you see in here, a new folder is added. What is it? Projects. And observe carefully, Angular JSON, so many changes happened now. Previously, Angular JSON was having only one file, 2-3 lines. Huh? Now you can see lot of information. That means it contains lot of details. These you are going to understand. These you are going to understand how to use, how to work with them. Right? Initially, so you see projects. In that projects, you will see your project. What is the project? Shopping. In that, there is a folder called SRC. You know, SRC contains all dynamic files. All dynamic files are present here. We will learn about them. As of now, once the project is created, now let's see how to run this project. Later, we will understand the project structure. We will discuss how to run the project and see how it is, because every Angular project contains some sample design, sample screen that we will able to customize later. How to run the project after you created the project. Now you have to run the project. Run the project. How to run the project? Open terminal. Here you have to run ng server -- project is equal to project name. Project name is shopping. This is what you have to do. ng serve project shopping. Because you are in a workspace, then you have to tell which project to run, because there can be so many projects. Now you have to run like this. Now when you do this, so your project starts on a local server, with the address. What is that address? Is http://localhost 4200. That is the port number. Angular project starts in this location. That is the location where your Angular project is running. So you have to just run this command ng serve. Let's run this command here in the workspace. I'm using ng serve -- project. Project is equal to shopping and hit enter. It will compile and it will run the project. So this is the location where the project runs. What is the location? So localhost and port number 4200. Now this project by default have some screens to show. From where those screens are coming, how they are working, we will see. We will understand the complete scenario. Let's see. It is generating. It is compiling. Okay, now it is successful. And it say that Angular live development server is listening. Is listening means it started. You make a request. What is that? Localhost 4200. So open any browser. Here type localhost 4200 and hit enter. And this is your shopping project. This is your project. Lot of screen is present. Now have we designed this? We haven't designed this. By default it is coming. Now from where this is coming and how to customize this, how to put our own content here. This is what we need to learn, right? That means how this is working, how this project is working. What are the files behind this? From where this screen is coming, how to create such our own screen and create that we will see in the next session. Tomorrow we'll do that, right? Up to this, you have to try. Then in tomorrow's session, we are going to learn the architecture of project. That means how this is working, what is behind this, and how to customize and how to create our own screens, right? That we will see. That we will see in the next session. Tomorrow will continue. Okay, right? Up to this, you first try, right? Yeah.